The Jordan versus LeBron debate has one side pushing a narrative that falls apart the moment you examine the actual facts. They'll tell you LeBron played with nobody while Jordan had stacked teams. They'll claim longevity matters more than peak dominance. They'll argue that social media pressure somehow makes losing more acceptable. But here's what they won't tell you. Every single one of these arguments crumbles under basic scrutiny. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, never needed a Game 7 to close out a finals series. That's not just dominance, that's perfection under the brightest lights. Meanwhile, the guy they're comparing him to is 4-6 in the finals and needed to team up with multiple All-Stars just to get half of Jordan's rings. Hit that subscribe button because what we're about to uncover exposes how LeBron fans have rewritten history to make losing look like winning. And trust me, the teammate argument is about to get demolished. The teammate myth destroyed. Let's destroy the biggest lie in this debate right now, that LeBron played with nobody while Jordan had super teams. This narrative requires ignoring basic facts and hoping nobody checks the receipts. LeBron's teammates throughout his career include Dwyane Wade, Finals MVP, Hall of Famer, Chris Bosh, Hall of Famer, 11-time All-Star, Kyrie Irving, multiple All-Star, championship-winning shotmaker, Kevin Love, 5-time All-Star, and Anthony Davis, multiple All-NBA championship partner. That's 5 legitimate superstars across his championship runs. Compare that to Jordan's help during his championships. Scottie Pippen never won Finals MVP with Jordan, never led a team past the second round without him, and struggled to carry the Bulls when Jordan retired. Dennis Rodman was a role player on offense who contributed rebounds and defense. The rest? Steve Kerr, John Paxson, Horace Grant. These were solid players, not superstars. But here's what really exposes the lie. Jordan's first Bulls championship team had the 11th ranked offense in the league. They won with elite defense and Jordan's scoring, not because they were stacked with offensive talent. LeBron's championship teams, the 2013 Heat, had the 2nd ranked offense. The 2016 Cavaliers had 3 All-Stars in their starting lineup. The LeBron played with Larry Hughes argument is deliberately dishonest because it only references his worst teammates from one season while ignoring that he spent most of his career playing with multiple All-Stars that he specifically recruited through free agency. Jordan built championships through the draft and player development. LeBron built super teams through free agency and demanded trades. There's a fundamental difference between developing talent and assembling ready-made stars. The competition reality check. LeBron fans love to claim he faced tougher competition than Jordan, specifically citing the Warriors dynasty. This requires massive selective memory about NBA history and Jordan's actual opponents. Jordan faced the Bad Boy Pistons, one of the greatest defensive teams ever assembled, before breaking through to win championships. He faced the Lakers with Magic Johnson, the Blazers with Clyde Drexler, the Suns with Charles Barkley, the Sonics with Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp, and the Jazz with Stockton and Malone, all Hall of Fame level competition. The Warriors argument falls apart when you remember that LeBron only beat them when Draymond Green got suspended and they were missing their starting center. The one time he faced a healthy Warriors team with Durant, he got destroyed. And let's be honest, Jordan never went down 3-1 in a finals series in the first place. But here's the real kicker. LeBron played in an Eastern Conference so weak that he made 8 straight finals appearances facing minimal resistance. Jordan's Eastern Conference had the Knicks with Ewing, the Pacers with Reggie Miller, the Heat with Mourning and Hardaway, and those Pistons teams. LeBron's Eastern Conference competition? The corpse of the Celtics' Big Three and a bunch of rebuilding teams. The competition argument actually favors Jordan because he dominated consistently against elite teams without needing to switch conferences when things got difficult. LeBron ran from the East the moment things got challenging, immediately joining an already playoff-caliber Lakers team with a young superstar. The finals record speaks volumes, 6-0 versus 4-6. This isn't complicated mathematics, but LeBron fans have convinced themselves that getting to more finals and losing more often is somehow better than winning every time you get there. The mental gymnastics required to argue that 4-6 is better than 6-0 reveals how desperate this debate has become. Well, LeBron got there more times. Yeah, and lost more times. Making the finals and losing doesn't get you closer to Jordan. It exposes that you couldn't finish the job. Jordan never faced elimination in a finals series and lost. Never. He closed out every finals appearance either in 5 or 6 games, never needed a Game 7 to seal a championship. That's not just winning, that's dominance that never let opponents believe they had a chance. LeBron's finals losses include some genuinely embarrassing performances. The 2011 collapse against the Mavericks, where he averaged 17 points and disappeared in fourth quarters, is indefensible for someone claiming GOAT status. The 2007 sweep, where he scored 10 points in a finals game. The 2018 sweep, where his team got dismantled despite his individual stats. But here's what really matters. Jordan never gave opponents hope. When his Bulls made the finals, everyone knew the series was basically over. When LeBron's teams make finals, opponents know they have a legitimate chance to win because it's happened 6 times already. The finals record isn't just about numbers, it's about the mentality of never accepting defeat when everything is on the line. Jordan had that mentality. LeBron clearly doesn't, which is why he's lost more finals than he's won. The peak versus longevity fallacy. LeBron fans have created a bizarre argument that playing longer somehow makes you greater, even if your peak wasn't as high. This is participation trophy logic applied to basketball greatness. Jordan's peak from 1991 to 1998 included 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, and statistical dominance that's never been matched. During this stretch, he never lost in the finals, never faced elimination and failed, and never let his team miss the playoffs. LeBron's peak includes 4 championships across 3 different teams, getting bounced from the playoffs multiple times, and missing the playoffs entirely in 2019. He's played longer, but longer mediocrity doesn't equal greater peak excellence. The longevity argument is especially weak when you consider that Jordan retired because he'd accomplished everything and had nothing left to prove. He came back in his late 30s and still averaged 20-plus points per game with the Wizards. If Jordan had played 21 seasons, he'd have more rings and more MVPs. Playing in your 40s while your team misses the playoffs and your stat padding on losing teams doesn't enhance your legacy. It dilutes it. Jordan quit while he was ahead. LeBron is hanging around collecting counting stats while his teams struggle to make the playoffs. The peak versus longevity debate is simple. Would you rather have 8 years of championship-level excellence or 21 years where only 4 included championships and several included playoff failures or missing the playoffs entirely? The pressure excuse demolished. The social media pressure argument might be the weakest defense LeBron fans have created. The idea that dealing with Twitter makes losing more acceptable is insulting to Jordan's actual pressure situations. Jordan played in an era where you couldn't hide from media scrutiny. Every newspaper, every sports radio show, every magazine was analyzing his every move. He played in Chicago, one of the biggest media markets in America, where Tribune and Sun-Times columnists dissected every game. But more importantly, Jordan never gave media anything negative to discuss because he never lost when it mattered most. LeBron's social media struggles exist because he's given people 6 finals losses to discuss. If he won every finals like Jordan, social media would be celebrating him, not criticizing him. The decision wasn't a social media pressure situation. That was LeBron creating his own controversy through terrible judgment. The 2011 finals collapse wasn't Twitter's fault. That was LeBron disappearing when his team needed him most. These were self-inflicted wounds that social media simply documented. Jordan faced elimination against the Pistons and came back stronger. He faced criticism for not winning early in his career and responded with 6 championships. That's how greatness handles pressure, by winning, not by making excuses about media platforms. The cultural impact difference. Jordan made basketball a global sport. Before Jordan, the NBA was struggling with tape-delayed finals games and declining viewership. After Jordan, basketball became a worldwide phenomenon with massive international appeal. The Dream Team introduced basketball to the world with Jordan as its centerpiece. His shoes became bigger than basketball, creating a sneaker culture that transcends sports. Space Jam brought basketball to kids who didn't even watch sports. LeBron's cultural impact is primarily about player empowerment and super team formation, fundamentally changing how players view loyalty and team building. That's significant, but it's not the same as making the sport itself culturally dominant worldwide. Jordan's influence made kids around the world want to be like Mike. LeBron's influence made players want to team up rather than compete. One expanded the game's reach, the other changed how it's played from a team-building perspective, not necessarily for the better. The truth about greatness. The Jordan versus LeBron debate only exists because of narrative manipulation by LeBron's fan base and media allies. When you examine actual facts, finals records, peak performance, competition faced, and cultural impact, Jordan's superiority is obvious. 6 championships without a single finals loss versus 4 championships with 6 finals losses. That's the entire debate right there. Everything else is just noise designed to distract from this fundamental truth. The teammate argument falls apart when you acknowledge LeBron played with more All-Stars across his championship runs than Jordan did. The competition argument fails when you remember Jordan faced Hall of Fame opponents consistently while LeBron dominated a weak Eastern Conference. The longevity argument is participation trophy logic that values showing up over actual achievement. The pressure argument is excuse-making for finals failures. The cultural impact clearly favors Jordan's global expansion of basketball. LeBron is a great player, top 10 all-time without question, but he's not Jordan, and he never will be. Trying to argue that 4-6 in finals is somehow equal to or better than 6-0 requires abandoning basic logic and embracing narrative over fact. If this breakdown of the Jordan versus LeBron debate exposed arguments you hadn't considered, make sure to subscribe for more honest analysis that prioritizes facts over popular narratives. Because sometimes the truth is uncomfortable, but it's still the truth.